Thank you so much for the 60-day stream streak. Ah, you are so sweet. You are so sweet. Hello everyone, welcome back to my Twitch stream. My name is Cassiopeia, but you can call me Cassie. Today we are doing something a little different. I know it's not quite like our normal schedule content, but I wanted to try something a little different. I'm glad you like the fit. We're going to be doing a reading today. The book I picked to start reading with is one that I loved as a kid and still love to this day and have very fond memories of. And I thought start with an easy one that is beloved by many still. Might as well stick with a childhood favorite. We're going to be starting with actually Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Though it is a lower level reading book, it is still a story that I enjoy quite a lot. I think it is I think it's one of the things that got me into reading, honestly. I think it is one of the reasons why I enjoy writing and learning about magic and mythology and delving into realms of fantasy. I think that is something that I have to attribute to Rick Riordan and the Percy Jackson series. Now, this is my first time attempting something like this, so bear with me as I do my best. I am a little nervous as ASMR is not usually my strong suit. I am quite loud most of the time, so we're going to try for a softer and more controlled stream today. I hope that is alright with everyone. I tried setting up a little bit of an ambiance. Tried to make it a little bit more calm and cool and inviting. So do not worry if you fall asleep. This would be a perfect stream to do so. I just would like you all to enjoy the comfort of my library. I'll be here watching over you all, alright? I feel almost a little awkward if I'm honest. I feel almost a little nervous. I want to make sure that you all have a good time. I don't want to yap too much. I don't really have too much honestly to say. I don't know why I keep almost slipping into a British accent when I talk this slow. I think I just kind of want to delve in, if that's alright with everyone. And please, if I stutter or if I fail, say something correctly, give me a little bit of grace. I beg. Cozy vibes, yes, cozy. Very cozy. I've also turned down sound alerts and stuff, so things should be a little quieter as well today. Not by too much, but it should be a little bit more comforting. Hopefully nothing too jarring happens, though I cannot make any promises. I think we should just get into it if that is alright with everyone. I hope. Like I said, we are starting with Percy Jackson. I'm so nervous, guys. I'm so nervous. Oh, I've broken things. How did I do this? I broke things immediately. Immediately, I broke things. Oh, God. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. There we are. Oh, no, not the scuff. Look, I am a very scuff librarian, guys. I'm trying my best. Alrighty. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Book 1, The Lightning Thief. Chapter 1, I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice is close this book right now. Believe whatever lie your mom or dad told you about your birth and try to lead a normal life. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. If you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great. Read on. I envy you for being able to believe that none of this ever happened. But if you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately. You might be one of us. And once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too. And they'll come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. Until a few months ago, I was a boarding student at Yancey Academy, a private school for troubled kids in upstate New York. Am I a troubled kid? Yeah, you could say that. I could start at any point in my short, miserable life to prove it, but things really started going bad last May, when our 6th grade class took a field trip to Manhattan. 28 mental case kids and 2 teachers on a yellow school bus heading to the Metropolitan Museum of Art to look at ancient Greek and Roman stuff. I know, it sounds like torture. Most Yancey field trips were. Mr. Bruner, our Latin teacher, was leading this trip, so I had hopes. Mr. Bruner was this middle-aged guy in a motorized wheelchair. He had thinning hair and a scruffy beard and a frayed tweed jacket, which always smelled like coffee. You wouldn't think he'd be cool, but he told us stories and jokes and let us play games in class. He also had this awesome collection of Roman armors and weapons, so he was the only teacher whose class that didn't put me to sleep. I hoped the field trip would be okay. At least, I hoped that once I wouldn't get in trouble. Boy, was I wrong. See, bad things happen to me on field trips. See, bad things happen to me on field trips. Like at... hello, Clover, welcome in. Like at my 5th grade school, when we went to the Saratoga battlefields, I had this accident with a Revolutionary War cannon. I wasn't aiming for the yellow school bus, but of course I got expelled anyways. And before that, my 4th grade school, when we took a behind-the-scenes tour at the Marine World Shark Pool, I sort of hit the wrong lever on the catwalk, and our class took an unplanned swim. And the time before that, well, you get the idea. This trip, I was determined to be good. All the way into the city, I put up with Nancy Bobofit, the freckly, red-headed kleptomaniac girl hitting my best friend Glover in the back of the head with chunks of peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. I just realized something. I forgot to put in a special thing that I was going to put on for you guys. Hold on. Let me fix that. I had one more thing I wanted to show off to you. Ta-da! A little veil. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute, so I wanted to use it if that's okay. It's so cute, yes, yes. I just looked over and realized I was missing it, so I had to put it back on. Yes, I wanted everything to be a very peaceful experience today. Try to help calm my nerves, you know? Anyways, all the way into the city, I put up with Nancy Bobofet, the freckly, red-headed kleptomaniac girl hitting my best friend Grover in the back of the head with chunks of peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. Grover was an easy target. He was scrawny. He cried when he got frustrated. He must have been held back several grades because he was the only 6th grader with acne and the start of a wispy beard on his chin. On top of all of that, he was crippled. He had a note excusing him from PE for the rest of his life because he had some kind of muscular disease in his legs. He walked funny, like every step hurt him. But don't let that fool you. You should have seen him run when it was enchilada day in the cafeteria. Anyways, Nancy Bobofet was throwing wads of sandwich that stuck in his curly brown hair, and she knew I couldn't do anything about it because I was already on probation. The headmaster had threatened me with death by in-school suspension if anything bad, embarrassing, or even mildly entertaining happened on this trip. I'm going to kill her, I mumbled. Grover tried to calm me down. It's okay, I like peanut butter. He dodged another piece of Nancy's lunch. That's it. I started to get up, but Grover put me back in my seat. You're already on probation, he reminded me. You know who they'll blame if anything happens. Looking back on it, I wish I'd decked Nancy Bobofit right then and there. An in-school suspension would have been nothing compared to the mess I ended up getting myself into. Mr. Brunner led the museum tour. He rode up front in his wheelchair, guiding us through these big, echoey galleries, past marble statues and glass cases full of really old black and orangey poetry. It blew my mind that the stuff had survived for 2,000, 3,000 years. He gathered us all around a 13-foot-tall stone column with a big sphinx on top and started telling us it was a grave marker. A stele, for a girl about our age. He told us about the carvings on the side. I was told to listen. Well, I was trying to listen to what he had to say because it was kind of interesting. But everyone else around me was talking, and every time I told him to shut up, the other teacher chaperone, Mrs. Dodds, would give me the evil eye. Mrs. Dodds was this little math teacher from Georgia who always wore a black leather jacket, even though she was 50 years old. She looked mean enough to ride a Harley right into your locker. She had come to Yancey halfway through the year, when our last math teacher had a nervous breakdown. From her first day, Mrs. Dodds loved Nancy Bobofit and figured I was a devil spawn. She would point her crooked finger at me and say, "Now, honey, real sweet." And I knew I was going to get after-school detention for a month. One time, after she made me erase answers out of an old math workbooks until midnight, I told Grover I didn't think Mrs. Dodds was human. He looked at me real serious and said, "You're absolutely right." Mr. Brunner kept talking about Greek funeral art. Finally, Nancy Bobofit snickered something about the naked guy on the stele, and I turned around and said, "Will you shut up?" It came out louder than I meant to. The whole group laughed. Mr. Brunner stopped his story. "Mr. Jackson," he said, "did you have a comment?" "Hello, Sparkle. Welcome in, love." My face totally went red. I said, "No, sir." Mr. Brunner pointed to one of the pictures on the stele. "Perhaps you'd like to tell us what this picture represents." I looked at the carving and felt my face flush. I looked at the carving and felt a flush of relief because I actually recognized it. That's Kronos eating his kids, right? "Yes," Mr. Brunner said, obviously not satisfied. "And he did this because..." Well, I racked my brain trying to remember. Kronos was the king god and god? Mr. Brunner asked. Titan, I corrected myself. And he didn't trust his kids, who were the gods, so Kronos ate them, right? But his wife hid baby Zeus and gave Kronos a rock tea instead. And later, when Zeus grew up, he tricked his dad, Kronos, into barfing up his brothers and sisters. "Ew," one of the girls said behind me. "And so there was this big fight between the Titans and the gods," I continued, "and the gods won." Some snickers from the groups. Behind me, Nancy Bobofit mumbled to a friend, "Like we're gonna use this in real life. Like it's gonna say this on our job applications. Please explain why Kronos ate his kids." "And why, Mr. Jackson," Brunner said, "to paraphrase Mrs. Bobofet's excellent question, does this matter in real life?" "Busted," Grover muttered. "Shut up," Nancy hissed, her face even brighter red than her hair. At least Nancy got back too. Mr. Brunner was the only one who ever caught her saying anything wrong. He had radar ears. I thought about his question and shrugged. "I don't know, sir." "I see." Mr. Brunner looked disappointed. "Well, half credit, Mr. Jackson. Zeus did indeed feed Kronos a mixture of mustard and wine, which made him disgorge his other 5 children, who, of course, being immortal gods, had been living and growing up completely undigested in the Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced him into pieces with his own scythe, and scattered his remains in Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld. On that happy note, it's time for lunch. Mrs. Dodds, would you lead us back outside? The class drifted off, the girls holding their stomach, the guys pushing each other around and acting like doofuses. Grover and I were following when Mr. Brunner said, Mr. Jackson. I knew that was coming. I told Grover to keep going, and then I turned around. Sir? Mr. Brunner had this look that wouldn't let you go. Intense brown eyes that could have been 1,000 years old and seen everything. You must learn to answer to my question, Mr. Brunner told me. About the Titans? About real life, and how your studies apply to it. Oh. What you learn from me, he said, is vitally important. I expect you to treat it as such. I will accept only the best from you, Percy Jackson. I wanted to get angry. This guy pushed me so hard. I mean, sure, it was kind of cool on tournament days when he dressed up in a suit of Roman armor and shouted, "What ho!" and challenged a sword point against Chuck to run to the board and name every Greek and Roman person who'd ever lived, and their mother and what god they worshipped, but Mr. Brunner expected me to be as good as everyone else, to fight the fact that I had dyslexia and an attention deficit disorder. I had never made above a C- in my life. No, he didn't expect me to be as good. He expected me to be better. And I just couldn't learn all those names and facts, much less spell them correctly. I mumbled something about trying harder when Mr. Brunner took one long sad look at the stele, like he'd been to the girl's funeral. He told me to go outside and eat my lunch. The class gathered on the front footsteps of the museum, where we would where we could watch the foot traffic along Fifth Avenue. Overhead, a huge storm was brewing, with clouds blacker than I had ever seen over the city. I figured maybe it was global warming or something, because the weather all across New York State had been weird since Christmas. We'd have massive snowstorms, flooding, wildfires from lightning strikes. I wouldn't be surprised if a hurricane blew in. Nobody seemed to notice. Some of the guys were pelting pigeons with Lunchable crackers. Nancy Bobofit was trying to pickpocket something from a lady's purse, and of course, Mrs. Dodds wasn't seeing a thing. Grover and I sat on the edge of a fountain away from the others. We thought that maybe if we did that, everyone wouldn't know that we weren't from that school. The school for loser freaks who couldn't make it anywhere else. Detention? Grover asked. Nah, I said. Not from Brunner. I just wish he'd lay off me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a genius. Grover didn't say anything for a while. Then, when I thought he was going to give me some deep, philosophical comment to make me feel better, he said, "Can I have your apple?" I didn't have much of an appetite, so I let him have it. I watched the stream of cabs go down Fifth Avenue and thought about my mom's apartment, only a little ways uptown from where we sat. I hadn't seen her since Christmas. I wanted so badly to jump in a taxi and head home. She'd hug me and be glad to see me, but she'd be disappointed too. Hi, Poyo. She'd send me right back to Yancy and remind me that I had to try harder, even if it was my 6th school in 6 years and I was probably going to get kicked out again. I wouldn't be able to stand that sad look she'd give me. Mr. Brunner parked his wheelchair at the base of the handicap ramp. He ate celery while he read a paperback novel. A red umbrella stuck up from the back of his chair, making it look like a motorized cafe table. I was about to unwrap my sandwich when Nancy Bobofit appeared in front of me with her ugly friends. I guess she got tired of stealing from tourists and dumped her half-eaten lunch on Rover's lap. Oops. She grinned at me with her crooked teeth. Her freckles were orange as if someone spray painted her face with liquid Cheetos. I tried to stay cool. The school counselor had told me a million times, count to 10, get control of your temper. But I was so mad my mind went blank. A wave roared in my ears. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I knew, Nancy was sitting on her butt in the fountain, screaming, "Percy pushed me!" Mrs. Dodds materialized next to us. Some of the kids were whispering, "Did you see? The water, like it grabbed her." I didn't know what they were talking about. All I know is I was in trouble again. As soon as Mrs. Dodds was sure poor little Nancy was okay, promising to get her a new shirt at the museum gift shop, etc., etc., Mrs. Dodds turned on me. There was a triumphant fire in her eyes, as if I'd done something that she'd been waiting for all semester. "Now, honey," "I know," I grumbled. "A month erasing workbooks." That was not the right thing to say. "Come with me," Mrs. Dodd said. "Wait," Grover yelped. "It was me. I pushed her." I stared at him stunned. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Mrs. Dodd scared Grover to death. She glared at him so hard his whiskey chin trembled. "I don't think so, Mr. Underwood," she said. "But you will. Stay here." Grover looked at me desperately. "It's okay, man," I told him. "Thanks for trying." "Honey," Mrs. Dodds barked at me. "Now." Nancy Buffett smirked. I gave her my deluxe "I'll kill you later" stare. Then I turned to face Mrs. Dodds, but she wasn't there. She was standing at the museum entrance, way at the top of the stairs, gesturing impatient at me to come on. How did she get there so fast? I have moments like that a lot, when my brain falls asleep or something, and the next thing I know, I've missed something, as if a puzzle piece fell right out of the universe and left me staring at a big blank place behind it. The school counselor told me it was part of my ADHD, my brain misinterpreting things. I wasn't so sure. I went up after Mrs. Dodds. Halfway up the steps, I glanced back at Grover. He was looking pale, cutting the eyes between me and Mr. Bruner, like he wanted Mr. Bruner to notice what was going on, but Mr. Bruner was absorbed in his novel. I looked back up. Mrs. Dodds had disappeared again. She was now inside the building, at the end of the entrance hall. Okay, I thought. She's going to make me buy a new shirt for Nancy at the gift shop. But apparently that wasn't her plan. I followed her deeper into the museum. When I finally caught up to her, we were back at the Greek-Roman section. Except for us, the gallery was empty. Mrs. Dodds stood with her arms crossed in front of a big marble frieze of the gods. She was making this weird noise in her throat, like growling. Even without the noise, I would have been nervous. It's weird being alone with a teacher, especially Mrs. Dodds. Something about the way she looked at the frieze. I'm not quite sure if I'm saying that correctly, but we're going to pretend we are. As if she wanted to pulverize it. "You've been giving us all problems, honey," she said. I did the safe thing, I said. "Yes, ma'am." She tugged on the cuff of her leather jacket. "Did you really think you were going to get away with it?" The look in her eye was beyond mad. It was evil. "She's a teacher," I thought nervously. "Not like she's going to hurt me." I said, I'll try harder, ma'am." Thunder shook the building. "We are not fools, Percy Jackson," Mrs. Dodds said. "It was only a matter of time before we found you out. Confess, and you will suffer less pain." I didn't know what she was talking about. All I could think of was the teacher must have found this illegal stash of candy I've been selling in my dorm room. Or maybe they'd realized I got my essay of Tom Sawyer from the internet without even reading the book. Now they're going to take away the grade. Or worse, they're going to make me read the book. "Well," she demanded. Ma'am, I don't. Your time is up, she hissed. Then, the weirdest thing happened. Her eyes began to glow like barbecue coals, her fingers stretched, turning into talons. Her jacket melted into large, leathery wings. She wasn't human. She was a shriveled hag with bat wings and claws and a mouthful of yellow fangs. And she was about to slice me to ribbons. Then things got even stranger. Mr. Brunner, who'd been out in front of the museum a minute before, wheeled his chair into the doorway of the gallery, holding a pen in his hand. What ho, Percy? He shouted and tossed the pen through the air. Mrs. Dodds lunged at me. With a yelp, I dodged and felt talons slash through the air right next to my ear. I snatched the ballpoint pen out of the air, and when it hit my hand, it wasn't a pen anymore. It was a sword. Mr. Brunner's bronze sword, which he always used on tournament days. Mrs. Dodds spun towards me with a murderous look in her eyes. My knees were jelly. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the sword. She snarled, "Die, honey." Then she flew straight at me. Absolute terror ran through my body. I did the only thing that came naturally. I swung the sword. The metal blade hit her shoulder and passed clean through her body as if it was made of water. Hiss. Mrs. Dodds was a sandcastle on a power fan. She exploded into yellow powder, vaporized on the spot, leaving nothing but the smell of sulfur and a dying screech and chill of evil in the air. As if those two glowing eyes were still watching me. I was alone. There was a ballpoint pen in my hand. Mr. Brunner wasn't there. Nobody but me was there. My hands were still trembling. My lunch must have contaminated with magic mushrooms or something. Had I imagined the whole thing? I went back outside. It had started to rain. Grover was sitting by the fountain, a museum map tented over his head. Nancy Bobofet was still standing there, soaked from her swim in the fountain, grumbling to her ugly friends. When she saw me, she said, "I hope Mrs. Kerr whipped your butt." I said, "Who?" "Our teacher. Duh." I blinked. "We had no teacher named Mrs. Kerr." I asked Nancy what she was talking about, but she just rolled her eyes and turned away. I asked Grover where Mrs. Dodd was. He said, "Who?" But he paused at first and wouldn't look at me. So I thought he was messing with me. "Not funny, man," I told him. "This is serious." Thunder boomed overhead. I saw Mr. Brunner sitting under his red umbrella, reading his book as if he'd never moved. I went over to him. He looked up a little distracted. "Oh, that would be my pen. Please bring your own writing utensils in the future, Mr. Jackson." I handed Mr. Brunner's pen. I hadn't even realized I was still holding it. "Sir," I said, "where is Mrs. Dodds?" He stared at me blankly. "Who?" "The other chaperone, Mrs. Dodds, the pre-algebra teacher." He frowned and sat forward, looking mildly concerned. "Percy, there is no Mrs. Dodds on this trip. As far as I know, there has never been a Mrs. Dodds at Yancey Academy. Are you feeling all right?" Chapter 2. 3 old ladies knit the socks of death. Before we start reading this next chapter, I hope we are all enjoying. I don't know if I said hellos to people, making sure. I said hello to, I know, Clover and Sparkle, but I don't know if I said hello to Pollo. Hi Pollo, welcome in. We're doing a little bit of an ASMR reading stream today. I hope you are all enjoying so far. I did? Okay. I couldn't remember and I was feeling a bit nervous. I have my mic so close to my face that I feel like my tracking is not working, but we're doing our best. We're having a good time. We're having a good time. Working well? Yay! I'm glad to hear. it's a little weird. I'm used to being a lot more animated. Okay, we'll continue now. I'm sorry. Chapter 2. 3 old ladies knit the socks of death. I was used to the occasional weird experience, but usually they were over quickly. This 24/7 hallucination was more than I could handle. For the rest of the school year, the entire campus seemed to be playing some kind of trick on me. Students acted as if they were completely and totally convinced that Mrs. Kerr, a perky blonde woman who I'd never seen in my life until she got on our bus at the end of the field trip, had been our pre-algebra teacher since Christmas. Every so often I would spring a Mrs. Dodds reference on someone just to see if I could trip them up, but they would stare at me like I was a psycho. It got so I almost believed them. Mrs. Dodds had never existed. Almost. But Grover couldn't fool me. When I mentioned the name Dodds, he would hesitate, then claim she didn't exist, but I knew he was lying. Something was going on. Something had happened at the museum. I didn't have much time to think about it during the day, but at night, visions of Mrs. Dodds with talons and leathery wings would wake me up in a cold sweat. The freaky weather continued, which didn't help my mood. One night, a thunderstorm blew out the windows in my dorm room. A few days later, the biggest tornado ever spotted in the Hudson Valley touched down only 50 miles from Yancey Academy. One of the current events we studied in social studies class was the unusual number of small planes that had gone down in sudden squalls in the Atlantic that year. I started feeling cranky and irritable most of the time. My grades slipped from D's to F's. I got in more fights with Nancy Bobofit and her friends. I was sent into the hallway in almost every class. Finally, when our English teacher, Mrs. Nicole, asked me for the millionth time why I was too lazy to study for spelling tests, I snapped. Someone's dying outside my door, damn. Finally, when our English teacher, Mr. Nicole, asked me for the millionth time why I was too lazy to study for spelling tests, I snapped. I called him an old sot. I wasn't even sure what it meant, but it sounded good. The headmaster sent my mom a letter the following week, making it official. I would not be invited back to next year. Yancey Academy. Finally, I told myself. Just fine. I was homesick. I wanted to be with my mom in our little apartment on the Upper East Side, even if I had to go to public school and put up with an obnoxious stepfather and his stupid poker parties. And yet, there were things I'd miss at Yancey. The view of the woods out my dorm room, the Hudson River in the distance, the smell of pine trees, and Miss Grover, who'd been a good friend, even if he was a little strange. I worried about how he'd survive next year without me. I'd miss Latin class, too. Mr. Bruner's crazy tournament days and his faith that I could do well. As exam week got closer, Latin was the only test I studied for. I hadn't forgotten what Mr. Bruner told me about this subject being life or death to me. I wasn't sure why, but I started to believe him. The evening before my finals, I got so frustrated I threw the Cambridge Guide to Greek Mythology across my dorm room. Words had started swimming off the pages, circling in my head, the letters doing 180s as if they were riding skateboards. There was no way I was going to remember the difference between Chiron and Charon, or Polydactes or Polydeuces, and conjuring those Latin verbs. Forget it. I paced the room, feeling like ants were crawling around the inside my shirt. I remembered Mr. Bruner's serious expression, his 1,000-year-old eyes. I will only accept the best from you, Percy Jackson. I took a deep breath. I picked up the mythology book. I never asked a teacher for help before. Maybe if I talked to Mr. Bruner, he could give me some pointers. At least I could apologize for that big fat F I was about to score on his exam. I didn't want to leave Yancey Academy with him thinking I hadn't tried. I walked downstairs to the facility officers. Most of them were dark and empty, but Mr. Bruner's door was ajar, light from the window stretching across the hallway floor. I was 3 steps from the door handle when I heard a voice inside the office. Mr. Bruner asked a question. A voice that was definitely Grover's said, "Worried about Percy, sir?" I froze. Not usually an eavesdropper, but I dare you to try not to listen if you hear your best friend talking about you to an adult. I inched closer. "Alone this summer," Grover was saying. "I mean, a kindly one in the school. Now that we know for sure, and they know too, we would only make matters worse by rushing him," Mr. Bruner said. "We need the boy to mature more. But he may not have the time. The summer solstice deadline will have been resolved without him. Grover, let him enjoy the ignorance while he still can." "Sir, he saw her." "His imagination," Mr. Brunner insisted. "The mist over the students and staff will be enough to convince him of that. Sir, I can't fail my duties again." Grover's voice was choked with emotion. "You know what that would mean, sir." "You haven't failed, Grover," Mr. Brunner said kindly. "I should have seen her for what she was. Now, let's just worry about keeping Percy alive until next fall." Mythology book dropped out of my hand and hit the floor with a thud. Mr. Brunner went silent. My heart hammering, I picked up the book and backed down the hall. A shadow slid across the lighted glass of Brunner's office door. The shadow of something much taller than a wheelchair-bound teacher. Something that suspiciously looked like an archer's bow. A tongue twister of a sentence. I opened the nearest door and slid inside. A few seconds later, I heard a slow clip, clop, 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 like muffled wood blocks, then a sound like an animal snuffing right outside the door. A large, dark shape paused in front of the glass, then moved on. A bead of sweat trickled down my neck. "Somewhere in the hallway," Mr. Brunner spoke. "Nothing," he murmured. "My nerves haven't been right since the winter solstice." "Mine neither," Grover said. "But I could have sworn—" "Go back to the dorm," Mr. Brunner told him. "You've got a long day of exams tomorrow." "Don't remind me." The lights went out in Mr. Brunner's office. I waited in the dark for what seemed like forever. Finally, I slipped out into the hallway and made my way back up to the dorm. Grover was lying on the bed, studying his Latin exam notes like he'd been there all night. "Hey," he said, blurry-eyed. You're going ready for the test?" I didn't answer. "You look awful," he frowned. "Is everything okay?" "Just tired." I turned so he couldn't read my expression and started getting ready for bed. I didn't understand what I heard downstairs. I wanted to believe I'd imagined the whole thing, but one thing was clear. Grover and Mr. Brunner were talking about me behind my back. They thought I was in some kind of danger. The next afternoon, as I was leaving the 3-hour Latin exam, my eyes swimming with all the Greek and Roman names that I had misspelled, Mr. Brunner called me back inside. For a moment, I was worried he'd find out that I eavesdropped the night before, but that didn't seem to be the problem. "Percy," he said, "don't be discouraged about leaving Yancy. It's for the best." His tone was kind, but the words still embarrassed me. Even though he was speaking quietly, the other kids finishing the test could hear. Nancy Boafett smirked at me and made sarcastic little kissing motions with her lips. I mumbled, "Okay, sir." I mean, Mr. Brunner wheeled his chair back and forth like he wasn't sure what to say. "This isn't the right place for you. It was only a matter of time." My eyes stung. Here was my favorite teacher in front of the class telling me I couldn't handle it. After saying he believed in me all year, now he was telling me I was destined to get kicked out. "Right," I said, trembling. No, Mr. Brunner said. "Oh, confound it all. What I'm trying to say is, You're not normal, Percy. That's nothing to be. Thanks, I blurted. Thanks a lot, sir, for reminding me. Percy, but I was already gone. On the last day of the term, I shoved my clothes in my suitcase. The other guys were joking, talking about their vacation plans. One of them was going to a hiking trip in Switzerland. Another was cruising the Caribbean for a month. They were juvenile delinquents just like me. But they were rich juvenile delinquents. Their daddies were executives or ambassadors or celebrities. I was nobody from a family of nobodies. They asked me what I was doing this summer, and I told them I was going back to the city. What I didn't tell them was I was going to have a summer job walking dogs or selling magazine subscriptions and spend my free time worrying about where to go to school in the fall. Oh, one of the guys said, "That's cool." They went back to their conversation as if they never existed. The only person I dreaded saying goodbye to was Grover, but as it turned out, I didn't have to. Booked a ticket to Manhattan on the same Greyhound as I. So there we were, together, heading towards the city. During the whole bus ride, Grover kept glancing nervously down the aisle, watching the other passengers. It occurred to me that he'd been acting nervous and fidgety when we left Yancey, as if he expected something bad to happen. Before, I'd always assumed he was worried about getting teased, but there was nobody to tease him on the Greyhound. Finally, I couldn't stand any more. I said, "Looking for the kindly ones?" Grover nearly jumped out of his seat. "What do you mean?" I confessed about eavesdropping on him and Mr. Bruno the night before the exam. Grover's eye twitched. "How much did you hear?" "Oh, not much. What's that summer solstice deadline?" He winced. "Look, Percy, I was worried for you, see? I mean, hallucinating about demon math teachers, Grover, and I was telling Mr. Bruner that maybe you were overstressed or something because there was no such person at Mrs. Dodd's and Grover, you're a really, really bad liar." His ears turned pink. From his shirt pocket, he fished out a grubby business card. Just take this, okay? In case you need it for the summer." The card was in fancy script, which was murder on my dyslexic eyes, but I finally made something out like Grover Underwood, keeper, Half-Blood Hill, Long Island, New York. "What's half? Don't say it out loud," he yelped. That's my summer address." My heart sank. Grover had a summer home. I never considered his family might be just as rich as the others at Yancey. "Okay," I said glumly. "So, like, if I want to come visit your mansion?" He nodded. Or if you need me." "Why would I need you?" It came out harsh and the ASMR made me giggle. I'm sorry. Not the ASMR, the lo-fi. We're skipping that song. I wasn't ready for the rift. Oh no. It came out harsher than I meant to. Grover blushed right down to his Adam's apple. "Look, Percy, the truth is I kinda have to protect you." I stared at him. A whole year long, I got into fights, keeping bullies away from him. I'd lost sleep worrying that he'd get beaten up next year without me, and here he was, acting like he was the one who defended me. "Grover," I said, "what exactly are you protecting me from?" There was a huge grinding noise under our feet. Black smoke poured from the dashboard, and the whole bus filled with the smell of like rotten eggs. The driver cursed and limped the Greyhound over to the side of the highway. After a few minutes, clacking around in the engine compartment, the driver announced that we'd all have to get off. Grover and I filed outside with everyone else. We were on a stretch of country road. No place you'd notice if you didn't break down there. On the side of the highway was nothing but maple trees and litter from passing cars. On the other side, across 4 lanes of asphalt shimmering with afternoon heat, was an old-fashioned fruit stand. We were on a stretch of country road. No place you'd notice if you didn't. Oh, I did. Whoops. The stuff on sale looked really good. Heaping boxes of blood-red cherries and apples, walnuts and apricots, jugs of cider, and a clawfoot tub full of ice. There were no customers, just 3 old ladies sitting in rocking chairs in the shade of a maple tree, knitting the biggest pair of socks I'd ever seen. I mean, these socks were the size of sweaters, but they were clearly socks. The ladies on the right knitted one of them, the lady on the left knitted the other. The lady in the middle held an enormous basket of electric blue yarn. All three women looked ancient, with pale faces wrinkled like fruit leather, silver hair tied back in white bandanas, bony arms sticking out bleached cotton dresses. The weird thing was that they seemed to be looking right at me. I looked over at Grover to say something about this and saw the blood had drained from his face. His nose was twitching. Grover? I said. Hey man, tell me they're not looking at you. They are, aren't they? Yeah, weird, huh? You think those socks would fit me? Not funny, Percy. Not funny at all. The old lady in the middle took one out a huge pair of scissors, gold and silver, long-bladed like shears. I heard Grover catch his breath. We're getting on the bus, he told me. Come on. What? I said, it's 1,000 degrees in there. Come on. He pried open the doors and climbed inside, but I stayed back. Across the road, the old ladies were still watching me. The middle one cut the yarn, and I swear I could hear that snip across 4 lanes of traffic. Her 2 friends balled up the electric blue socks, leaving me wondering what they could possibly be for. Sasquatch or Godzilla. At the rear of the bus, the driver wrenched a big chunk of smoking metal out of the engine compartment. The bus shuddered and the engine roared back to life. The passengers cheered. Darn right, yelled the driver. He slapped the bus with his hat. Everybody back on board. Once we got going, I started feeling feverish, as if I caught the flu. Grover didn't look much better. He was shivering and his teeth were chattering. Grover? Yeah? What are you not telling me? He dabbed his forehead with his shirt sleeve. Percy, what did you see back at the fruit stand? You mean the old ladies? What is it about them, man? They're not like Mrs. Dodds, are they? His expression was hard to read, but I got this feeling that the fruit stand ladies were something much, much worse than Mrs. Dodds. He said, just tell me what you saw. The middle one took out her scissors and she cut the yarn. His eyes closed and made a gesture with his fingers that must have been crossing himself, but it wasn't. It was something almost older. He said, you saw her snip the cord. Yeah? So? But even as I said it, I knew it was a big deal. This is not happening, Grover mumbled. He started chewing at his thumb. I don't want this to be like last time. What? Last time? Almost 6th grade. Always 6th grade. They never get past 6. Grover, I said, because he was starting to scare me. What are you talking about? Let me walk you home from the base station. Promise me. This seemed like a strange request to me, but I promised he could. Is this like a superstition or something? I asked. No answer. Grover, that snipping of the Grover, that snipping of the yarn, does that mean someone's going to die? He looked at me mournfully, like he picked up a kind of flower, like he was already picking the kind of flower that looked best on my coffin. Alrighty. I think we're only going to limit ourselves to like 2 to 3 chapters each of these. Hello, Shinny. Hello, love. Oh, I think we're only going to limit ourselves to like 2 to 3 chapters a stream. You're all good. When doing these type of content, depending on my energy, I can probably go to about 5 chapters a stream if that's alright with everyone. But we're going to try to go through one more chapter and then I think we'll call it. Because it does take a little bit of time to get through each chapter if that's alright. I actually don't know how many chapters there are in this book. I forgot to look. Oh no. Let's find out together, shall we? There's only 22 actually, so if we do If we do a couple, 3 a chapter, it's like 7 streams less. Mm. We're talking about reading. We're reading a childhood book of mine that I love while we're testing out some ASMR content. I'd love to actually do more of this and test out like some triggers, like the I know some people really like the popping sound, like the, so that could be a thing. Or sometimes I have nails, so you can do things like, I don't know if my mic will pick it up because of my filters, but the tapping things. I love the popping sounds. I guess I want to delve more into ASMR, but I'm a little nervous. I don't know if people will like it. But yes, right now we're reading Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. We're doing some childhood nostalgia at the moment. I love ASMR. That's amazing. I'm glad. But yeah, I would have to get better at it. I want to try out more things. I know, that's why we're reading. Like because I already have the tendency to do pops because it's a fun vocal stim. Just the, there's also like the clicking that I see people do, like, but I can't do that because I don't have nails at the moment, guys. But yeah, like other things. I don't know if you can hear it, but my moves when I pop. What do you mean the? Oh, thank you so much for the stream streak, Shinny. Thank you. I'm glad you like it around here. um, anyway, should we continue, I feel? Hello, Lutz. Welcome in, my love. Let's continue with our next chapter, shall we, darlings? Hmm. Everybody wait. Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? Yes. Hmm. Oh, let's see if Gotcha. Oh, we did want to test that, didn't we? That's true. He really does not like you normally. It is kind of sad. Hi, Lutz. Hello, my love. Hold on, hold on. There you go. There's your gotcha. There you are. No, you got your gotcha, don't worry. Mods and above can gift packs, so we can figure it out. I don't know if Blue knows she has that power, but you do know you have the power to gift packs and open as many packs as you like, right, my love? If you don't, you do know. I didn't know, got it. Amazing. Let's continue reading, shall we, my loves? Chapter 3. Rover unexpectedly loses his pants. No. Confession time. I ditched Grover as soon as we got to the bus terminal. I know. It was rude, but Grover was freaking me out, looking at me like I was a dead man, muttering, "Why does this stuff always happen? And why does it always have to be 6th grade?" Hmm? Don't feel bad, Shinny. Do not feel bad. We can get it figured out. I want everyone to be able to enjoy my redeems. Whenever he got upset, Grover's bladder acted up, so I wasn't surprised when, as soon as we got off the bus, he made me promise to wait for him, and then made a beeline for the restroom. Instead of waiting, I got my suitcase, slipped outside, and caught the first taxi uptown. East 104th. East 104th and 1st. I told the driver a word about my mother before we met her. Her name is Sally Jackson, and she's the best person in the world. which just proves my theory that the best people have the rottenest luck. Her own parents died in a plane crash when she was 5, and she was raised by an uncle who didn't care much about her. She wanted to be a novelist. She spent high school working to save enough money for college with a good creative writing program. Then her uncle got cancer, and she had to quit school in her senior year to take care of him. After he died, she was left with no money, no family, no diploma. The only good break she ever got was meeting my dad. I don't have any memories of him, just this sort of warm glow. Maybe the barest trace of a smile. My mom doesn't like to talk about him because it makes her sad. She had no pictures. See, they weren't married. She told me he was rich and important and their relationship was a secret. Then one day he set sail across the Atlantic on some important journey and he never came back. Lost at sea, my mother told me. Not dead, lost at sea. She worked odd jobs, took night classes to get her high school diploma, and raised me on her own. She never complained or got mad, not even once. But I knew I wasn't an easy kid. Finally, she remarried. Gabe Agliano, who was nice the first 30 seconds we knew him, then showing his true colors as the world-class jerk. When I was young, I nicknamed him Smelly Gabe. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. This guy reeked like moldy garden pizza wrapped in gym shorts. Between the two of us, we made my lives pretty hard. Hello, can I speak? Between the two of us, we made my mom's life pretty hard. The way Smelly Grape treated her, the way he and I got along, well, when I come home is a good example. I walked into our apartment hoping my mom would be home from work. Instead, Smelly Gabe was in the living room playing poker with his buddies. The television blared ESPN. Chips and beer cans were strewn all over the carpet. Hardly looking up, he set around his cigar. So you're home. Where's my mom? Working, he said. Got any cash? That was it. No welcome back. Good to see you. How has your life been in the last 6 months? Gabe had put on weight. He looked like a tussless walrus in the thrift store clothes. He had about 3 hairs on his head, all combed over his bald scalp, as if it was going to make him handsome or something. He managed the electronics mega mart in Queens. I swear I was able to read earlier. I don't know what's happening. He managed the electric mega mart in Queens, but he stayed home most of the time. I don't know why he hadn't been fired long before. He kept on collecting paychecks, spending the money on cigars that made me nauseous, and on beer, of course. Always beer. Whenever I was home, he expected me to provide his gambling funds. He called this our guy's secret, meaning if I told my mom, he would punch my lights out. I don't have cash, I told him. He raised a greasy eyebrow. Gabe could sniff out money like a bloodhound, which was surprising since his own smell should have covered everything else up. He took a taxi to the bus station, he said. Probably paid with 20, got 67 back in change. Somebody expects to live under this roof. He ought to carry his own weight. Am I right, Eddie? Eddie, the super of the apartment building, looked at me with a twinge of sympathy. Come on, Gabe, he said. The kid just got here. Am I right? Gabe repeated. Eddie scowled into his bowl of pretzels, the other 2 guys passing gas in harmony. Fine, I said. I dug out a wad of dollars in my pocket and threw the money on the table. I hope you lose. Your report card came home, brain boy, he said. I wouldn't act so snooty. I slammed the door to my room, which really wasn't my room. During school months, it was Gabe's study. He didn't study anything in there except old car magazines, but he loved shoving my stuff in the closet, leaving his muddy boots on my windowsill, and doing his best to make this place smell like his nasty cologne and cigar and stale beer. I dropped my suitcase on the bed. Home sweet home. Gabe's smell was almost the worst of the nightmares about Mrs. Dodd, with the sound of that old fruit lady's shears snipping the yarn. But as soon as I thought that, my legs felt weak. I remember Grover's looking in panic, how he'd made me promise that I wouldn't go home without him. A sudden chill rolled over me. I felt like someone was looking for me right now. Maybe pounding its way up the stairs, growling long, horrible talons. Then I heard my mom's voice. Percy? She opened the bedroom door and my fears melted. Mother could make me feel good just by walking in the room. Her eyes sparkle and change color in the light. Her smile is warm as a quilt. She got a few gray streaks mixed with her long brown hair, but I never think of her as old. When she looked at me, it's like she's seeing all the good things about me, none of the bad. I've never heard her raise her voice or say any unkind words towards anyone, not even me or Gabe. Oh, Percy, she hugged me tight. I can't believe it. You've grown since Christmas. Her red, white, and blue Sweet on America uniform smelled like the best thing in the world. Chocolate licorice and all the other stuff she sold at this candy shop in Grand Central. She brought me a huge bag of free samples, the way she always did when she came home. We sat together on the edge of the bed while I attacked this blue sour strings. She ran her hand through my hair and demanded to know everything I hadn't put in my letters. She didn't mention anything about me getting expelled. She didn't seem to care about that, but was I okay? Was her little boy doing all right? I told her she was smothering me and to lay off on all that, but secretly I was really, really glad to see her. From the other room, Gabe yelled, Hey Sally, how about some bean dip, huh? I gritted my teeth. My mom is the nicest lady in the world. She should have been married to a millionaire, not some jerk like Gabe. For her sake, I tried to sound upbeat about my last days at Yancey Academy. I told her I wasn't too down bad about the expulsion. I'd lasted almost the whole year this time. I made some new friends. I'd done pretty well in Latin, and honestly, the fights hadn't been as bad as the headmaster said. I liked Yancey Academy. I really did. I put such a good spin on the year. I almost convinced myself. Started choking up, thinking about Grover and Mr. Brunner. Even Nancy Belbafit suddenly didn't seem so bad. Until that museum trip. What? Mom asked. Her eyes tugged at my consciousness, trying to pull out all the secrets. Did something scare you? No, Mom. I felt bad lying. I wanted to tell her about Mrs. Dodds and the 3 old ladies with the yarn, but I thought it would sound stupid. She pursed her lips. She knew I was holding back, but she didn't push me. I have a surprise for you, she said. We're going to the beach. My eyes widened. Montauk? 3 nights. Same cabin. When? She smiled. As soon as I get changed. I couldn't believe it. My mom and I hadn't been to Montauk the last 2 summers because Gade said there wasn't enough money. Gabe appeared in the doorway and growled, Bean dip, Sally? Didn't you hear me? I wanted to punch him. But I met my mom's eyes and understood she was offering me a deal. Be nice for a little while, just until she was ready to leave for Montauk. Then we get out of here. I was on my way, honey, she told Gabe. We were just talking about the trip. Gabe's eyes got small. The trip? You were serious about that? I knew it, I muttered. He wouldn't let us go. Of course he will, my mom said evenly. Your stepfather is just worried about money, that's all. Besides, she added, Gabriel wouldn't have settled to bean dip. I'll make him enough 7-layer dip for the whole weekend. Guacamole, sour cream, the works. Gabe softened a bit. So this money for the trip, it comes out of your clothes budget, right? Yes, honey, Mother said. And you won't take my car anywhere but there and back? We'll be very careful. Gabe scratched his double chin. Maybe if you hurry with that 7-layer dip, and maybe if the bookhead apologizes for interrupting my poker game. Maybe if I kicked you in your soft spot, I thought, and made you sing soprano for a week, but my mom's eyes warned me not to make him mad. Why did she put up with this guy? I wanted to scream. Why did she care what he thought? I'm sorry, I muttered. I'm really sorry I interrupted your incredibly important poker game. Please go back to it right now. Gabe's eyes narrowed. His tiny brain was probably trying to detect sarcasm in my statement. Yeah, whatever, he decided. He went back to his game. Thank you, Percy, my mom said. Once we get to Montauk, we'll talk about whatever you've forgotten to tell me, okay? For a moment, I thought I saw anxiety in her eyes. The same fear I'd seen Grover's during the bus ride, mom felt too, as if my mom too felt an odd chill in the air. But then her smile returned, and I figured I must have been mistaken. She ruffled my hair and went to make Gabe his 7-layer dip. An hour later, we were ready to leave. Gabe took a break from his poker game long enough to watch me lug my mom's bags to the car. He kept griping and groaning about losing her cooking, and most importantly, his 78 Camaro for the whole weekend. Not a scratch on this car, brain boy. He warned me as I loaded the last bag. Not one little scratch. Like I'd be the one driving. I was 12, but that didn't matter to Gabe. If a seagull so much as pooped on his paint job, he'd find a way to blame me. Watching him lumber back towards the apartment building, I got so mad I did something I couldn't explain. As Gabe reached the doorway, I made the gesture I'd seen Grover make on the bus. A sort of warding off evil gesture, and clawed a hand over my heart, then a shoving motion towards Gabe. The screen door slammed so hard it whacked me in the buttons and flying up the staircase after he'd been shot at from a cannon. Maybe it was just the wind, or maybe some freak accident with the hinges, but I didn't stay long enough to find out. I got in the Camaro and told my mom to step on it. Our rental cabin was on the South Shore, way out on the tip of Long Island. It was a little pastel box with faded curtains, half sunk into the dunes. There was always sand in the sheets and spiders in the cabinets, and most of the time the sea was too cold to swim in. I loved this place. We'd been going there since I was a baby. My mom had been going even longer. She never exactly said, but I knew why the beach was special to her. It was the place she met my dad. As we got closer to Montauk, she seemed to grow younger, years of worry and work disappearing from her face. Her eyes turned the color of the sea. We got there at sunset, opened all the cabin windows, and went through our usual cleaning routine. We walked on the beach, fed blue corn chips to seagulls, and munched on blue jelly beans, blue saltwater taffy, and all the other free samples my mom had brought from work. I guess I should explain the blue food. See, Gabe had once told my mom there was no such thing. They had a fight, which seemed like a really small thing at the time, but ever since, my mom went out of her way to eat blue. She baked blue birthday cake, she mixed blueberry smoothies, she bought blue corn tortilla chips, brought home blue candy from the shop, then, along with her maiden name, Jackson, rather than calling herself Mrs. Agliano, was proof that she wasn't totally suckered by Gabe. She did have a rebellious streak, just like me. When it got dark, we made a fire. We roasted hot dogs and marshmallows. Mom told me stories about when she was a kid, before her parents died in the plane crash. She told me about the book she would want to write someday when she had enough money to quit the candy shop. Eventually, I got up the nerve to ask about what was on her mind whenever we came to Montauk. My father. Mom's eyes went all misty. Hello, I'm a piece of toast. Welcome in. I figured she would tell me the same thing she always did, but I never got tired of hearing them. He was kind, Percy, she said. Tall, handsome, and powerful, but gentle, too. You have his black hair, you know? And his green eyes. Mom finished a blue jelly bean out of her candy bag. I wish he could see you, Percy. He would have been so proud. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing? I wondered how she could say that. What was so great about me? A dyslexic, hyperactive boy with a D+ report card, kicked out of school for the 6th time in 6 years. How old was I asked. When he left. She watched the flames. He was only with me for one summer, Percy. Right here at this beach. This cabin. But he knew me as a baby. No, honey. He knew I was expecting a baby. But he never saw you. He had to leave before you were born. I tried to square that. Fact was the I tried to scare that with the fact that I seemed to remember something about my father. A warm glow, a smile. I had always assumed he knew me as a baby. My mom had never said outright, but still, I'd felt it must be true. But I resented him for going on the. Hmm? Oh, I skipped a sentence. Oh no, my apologies. Um, Now to be told that he never even seen me, I felt angry at my father. Maybe it was stupid, but I resented him for going on the ocean voyage, for not having the guts to marry my mom. He'd left us and now we were stuck with smelly Gabe. Are you going to send me away again? I asked her. To another boarding school? She pulled a marshmallow from the fire. I don't know, honey. Her voice was heavy. I I think we'll have to do something. Because you don't want me around. I gritted the words as soon as they were out. My mom's eyes welled with tears. She took my hand, squeezed it tight. Oh, Percy, no, I have to, honey. For your own good, I have to send you away. Her words reminded me of what Mr. Bruner said, that it was best for me to leave Yancy. Because I'm not normal, I said. You say that if it was a bad thing, Percy, but you don't realize how important you are. I thought Yancy Academy would be far enough away. I thought you'd finally be safe. Safe from what? She met my eyes and a flood of memories came back to me. All the weird, scary things that had ever happened to me, some of which I tried to forget. During third grade, a man in a black trench coat had stalked me on the playground. When the teachers threatened to call the police, he went away growling. But no one believed me when I told him that under his broad-brimmed hat, the man only had one eye, right in the middle of his head. Before that, a really early memory, I was in preschool, and a teacher accidentally put me down for a nap in a cot that had a snake slithered into. My mom screamed when she came to pick me up and found me playing with a limp, scrawny rope that a man was just strangled to death with my meaty toddler hands. In every single school, something creepy had happened, something unsafe, something I was forced to move. I knew I should tell my mom about the old ladies in the fruit stand and Mrs. Dodds at the art museum and about my weird hallucination that I had sliced my math teacher into dust with a sword. But I couldn't make myself tell her. I had a strange feeling the news would end our trip in Montauk, and I didn't want that. I've tried to keep you as close as I could, my mom said. They told me that was a mistake. But there's only one other option, Percy. The place your father wanted to send you, and I just couldn't do that. My father wanted to send me to a special school? Not a school, she said softly. Hey, when this random lo-fi playlist has words in it, it messes me up. It's not supposed to speak to me. What a song. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was just... I have to compose myself. I do apologize. That's so funny. Anyways. Not a school, she said softly. A summer camp. My head was spinning. Why would my dad, who hadn't even stayed long enough to see me be born, talk to my mom about a summer camp? And if it was so important, why hadn't she ever mentioned it before? Sorry, Percy, she said, seeing the look in my eyes, but I can't talk about it. I couldn't send you to the place. It would mean me saying goodbye to you for good. For good? But it was only a summer camp. She turned towards the fire, and I knew from her expression that if I asked her any more questions, she would start to cry. That night, I had a vivid dream. It was storming on the beach, and two beautiful animals, a white horse and a golden eagle, were trying to kill each other at the edge of the surf. The eagle swooped down and slashed the horse's muzzle with its huge talons. The horse reared up and kicked at the eagle's wings. As they fought, the ground rumbled, and a monstrous voice chuckled somewhere beneath the earth, goading the animals to fight harder. I ran towards them, knowing I had to stop them from killing each other. But I was running in slow motion. I knew I would be too late. I saw the eagle dive down, its beak aimed at the horse's wide eye, and I screamed, "No!" I woke up with a start. Outside, it was really storming, the kind of storm that cracks trees and blows down houses. There was no horse or eagle on the beach, just lightning making false daylight and 20-foot waves pounding the dunes like artillery. With the next thunderclap, my mom woke. She sat up, eyes wide, and said, "Hurricane." I knew that was crazy. Long Island never sees hurricanes this early in the summer, but the ocean seemed to have forgotten. Over the roar of the wind, I heard a distant bellow, an angry, tortured sound that made my hair stand on edge. Then, a much closer noise, like mallets in the sand. A desperate voice, someone yelling, pounding on our cabin door. My mother sprang out of bed in her nightgown and threw open the lock. Grover stood framed at the doorway against the backdrop of pouring rain, but he wasn't exactly Grover. "Searching all night," he gasped. "What were you thinking?" My mother looked at me in terror, not scared of Grover, but of why he'd come. "Percy," she said, shouting to be heard over the rain. "What happened at school? What didn't you tell me?" I was frozen, looking at Grover. I didn't understand what I was seeing. "Ozu Kaleola, Theo," he yelled. "It was right behind me. Didn't you tell her?" I was too shocked to register that he just cursed in ancient Greek, and I understand him perfectly. I was too shocked to wonder how Grover had gotten here and by himself in the middle of the night, because Grover didn't have his pants on, and where his legs were, or where they should be. My mom looked at me sternly and talked in a tone she'd never used before. "Percy, tell me now." I stammered something about the old ladies at the fruit stand and Mrs. Dodds, and my mom stared at me, her face deathly pale in the flashes of lightning. She grabbed a purse, tossed me my rain jacket, and said, "Get to the car, both of you, go." Grover ran for the Camaro, but he wasn't exactly running. He was trotting, shaking his shaggy hindquarters, and suddenly his story about a muscular disorder in his legs made sense to me. I understand how he could run so fast and still limp when he walked, because where his feet should be, there were no feet. They were cloven hooves. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Hello, Anarchy. Hello, my sweet. Thank you for scanning it. I did say that we were probably only going to read like 3 chapters a stream and have a couple streams doing this, maybe more if I have more energy. But I don't want to end just yet. I want to show off a couple things before. That's the fun part. I've just realized something this entire time. Hold on. Oh, I'll have to fix that later. I just noticed that myself. That's so funny. Hold on, hold on. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, don't mind that. I just need to know what symbol it was. What happened? So apparently I never turned the neck off the Yusuko model. So the entire time the neck was on, or at some point I must have turned it on. That's so funny. Oh no. um Whoopsie. Whoopsie. But anyways, like I said, I did only want to do a couple chapters this stream. And I think 3 is a nice place to stop at. Before I go, I did want to show off a little bit. Nothing crazy, but there's one more thing about this model that I wanted to show, that I can change actually her hands. And I thought it was kind of cool if it would like. Oh, or not actually. Update. Why? Okay. My wrists can be bound, so that's interesting for sure. um, Scuff, yes, literally. But don't mind what I'm about to happen. I also can. Hold on. I also can. Oh, pound, you say yes. I also don't mind as my head disappears. Mind that. I also. It's not a full mono, but it's that just so you know what's happening down here is I'm holding the dress. So if you're wondering, that's what's happening. Gotta slap my head back on. Yes, garters as well. Sorry, just have to reconnect my head. Sorry, pardon me. There we are. have to have to just put it back on my head. I've actually had a really fun time reading this this stream. I was a little nervous, honestly, that it wouldn't go very well. I was actually quite scared. I'm usually quite loud, so ASMR is not my strong suit. Hello, hello, welcome in, dear. Um, so I'm glad that it went as well as it did. I didn't stutter as much as I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to stutter a lot more, as I tend to get jumbled and nervous and jump ahead in my brain. But we did well, we did well. Um I'm happy, I'm happy. Good night, Luke. Sleep well, my love. I do want to try doing these streams a little bit more often, if that is alright with everyone, and doing a little bit more ASMR content. Something I've been wanting to try out and see if I can, you know, get some nice stims for you all. Like, for example, I have all these Legos laying around now, and those can make really fun noises sometimes. Like I don't know if I can make it happen on right now because I don't have my stuff, but oh, if my mic wants to pick it up. You can knock on them or you can scrape them and everything with different materials and they make fun noises. um yeah, let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in, chat, and if you want to see me doing some more ASMR content. I also posted like a really short cover today. I've had a song. What did I just do? I've had a song stuck in my head. Real. The noise gate is mean. I've had a song stuck in my head for a long while, so I posted on like Twitter and TikTok and YouTube a short little song cover of "Not Like I Like You," which I thought was fun and good and cute. Um, so I hope you guys all like that as well. It's nothing super special, but it's something I made. As for when I'll be live next, I'm not actually quite sure. I have to look at my schedule, which actually I might be able to do right now. Maybe. Looks like I most likely won't be live again until next Monday, unfortunately, due to my work schedule. I do apologize, but I will be live but the Tuesday and Wednesday as well that week. And should be live again Thursday too. So we should have a little bit of a long streak of Cassie going on. So that's good. um, so all of us all together and have a good time. That is my goal. I want to try to be a bit more consistent for y'all and make sure that we all have a good time. I feel like my head is not on correctly and it's bothering me. Stop moving the body. Stop moving the body. Stop. I have to stop moving the body. Oh, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing happened. Everything is a-okay. We're not scuffed. We are actually so bro is getting jiggy. um but that'll probably be on live next. I definitely want to do a little bit very demure. Oh lord. Oh lord. You are so silly. But yeah, I want to definitely do more content like this. I want to yap. Why did the lo-fi just get so loud? Gosh. Why? Why did it get so loud? Rude, actually. Keep snoozing this fucking ad. Shoot the ad. Who is watching the eyes below your hand? Huh? Oh, you're talking. Okay. Alright. 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 You heathen. You heathen. But yes, I've had a lot of fun today. I think we should rate the volume kept changing during stuff at like lo-fi screaming. Dude, I don't know what was going on. I don't know why some of this lo-fi kept going up and down. I tried to keep it on the lower end and then sometimes it would just start going louder and I'm like, what is happening? Some of these songs were just screaming at me, like, oh my lord. um it was a little bit rough. If we raid out, I'd probably raid out to someone also doing ASMR to try to keep that going if possible. But I'm not sure. I'm nervous. Yes, if you want to support me on other places besides Twitch, that is a link to my socials. Helps me out a ton. If you want to keep more consistent updates with me, hang out with me, and overall be bigger part in the community, my Discord is also there. Apparently, we're doing my throne too. Oh my god! If you wanna allow me to have a addiction to the Tamagotchi life that I keep saying everywhere, that's my throne. I'm kidding. You don't have to. I'm joking. I'm doing a hee hee ha ha. Just you all being here is plenty. Um, sorry, yawning apparently. But yes, I wanna let me see who or what is live right now. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, there's a VTuber that's like cafe themed. They look cute. Hmm. They're kind of cool. I'm so sorry. I feel picky. I like VTubers, everyone. Guys, I like VTube. Guys, I like VTubers. If you didn't know, they're kind of nifty. Be picky. That's what. I'm a really picky person in general, and I feel bad. I feel bad sometimes. I feel like I get really picky about things, and I don't mean to. I just want good things. mm. Soriel, thank you for the hydrate. Headpads is not going to work right now. I forgot to set that up. I'm actually going to eat after stream, so don't worry. I haven't eaten anything today, so in all fairness though, of me not eating anything before I get yelled at, my brother freaking ate all my food, so we ordered food yesterday and it was Chinese, so we're gonna be leftovers. And I got like a little bit of my rice and sweet and sour chicken and I went to go get more and he ate it all and I was sad. Still yelling at you. No, don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. I don't deserve to get yelled at. I'm going to eat eventually. I'm going to. You're mean to me. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl in the world. Baseball emoji is crazy. Baseball emoji is crazy. God damn it, ad. God damn it, ad stopping me from checking out a cool VTuber. Fucking shoot the ads, everyone. Join me. Join. Oh, I just broke my otter's paw. Everything's fine. Nothing's happening. Actually, we're so chill. We're so chill. Ooh. Mmm. Mm-hmm. I, I look over and Aki's fucking emoji. She's. God damn it. Shut up. Shut up, all of you. I'm going to eat, I promise. Eventually, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Go the fuck away, ad. I don't, my brain just every time the ad comes up, snooze, 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 snooze. It's snoozed. Go away. It's snoozed. It's snoozed. Snoozed. Go away. I don't want you. Ad, go away. This person's so pretty. Oh, and I like their voice, and they're playing the game I really want. Alright, guys, victim acquired. Everyone, victim acquired. If you would like to participate in the raid, go ahead and copy that raid message. Like I said, I probably won't be live until next Wednesday or next Monday. This will probably be our last stream for the week. But do not worry, I will be around and posting more content. Thank you all for being here, my loves, and I do want to do another one like this again soon. So I do hope that you all enjoy today's stream, and I'm excited to do our next one. We're gonna continue reading and just kind of moving our way through different books and series and having a good time all over around. Um, so everyone, please get into the raid if you would be so kind. I love you all very, very much. Don't forget to eat something, drink some water. Don't forget how amazing, kind, special, wonderful, and overall a perfect you are. You have a ton of value you bring to your own life along with everyone's lives around you. Please do not forget that. Let's go ahead and go spread some positivity and open our library to some other new friends. Until next time, my loves. Goodbye.